I repeat, this ratio is about long-term funds available to a business. Debt and equity both are long-term funds. The only difference is that debt is borrowed funds, that is outsiders funds, and equity is insiders funds, that is from owners or shareholders. Have you got me, guys, or not? This ratio can be more than one even. That is, if total debt is 1 lakh, whereas total equity is only 20,000, then this ratio would be 5 is to 1 or 5 times. Have you understood what I explained, guys, or not? This ratio can also be lesser than 1. If debt is lesser than equity, then this ratio would be lesser than 1. This ratio can also be 0. If there is no debt, only equity, then this ratio would be 0. But there cannot be a chance where equity is 0, because without equity, no business can be started. Without capital, no business can be started. I hope you're understanding this, guys. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Debt equity ratio represents financial leverage, that is trading on equity. Now, what is financial leverage or what is trading on equity, guys? We will soon cover it in commerce, that is in BS subject. You will understand it with a numerical example. What is financial leverage or trading on equity, right? In fact, debt should be more than equity. A good finance manager keeps more debt than equity in the business. Means borrowed funds should be more than owners' funds. That is what all big corporates do. And that is what is called financial leverage or trading on equity. How it works, we will see it in the business studies or commerce. Right? So note down this also, guys, this line, all. After this, our next ratio is proprietary ratio. So proprietary ratio, guys, tells us the contribution of owners in total assets of the business. You must understand that total assets of a business are not just financed by owners. They are also financed by outsiders, external parties, that is lenders and creditors, because they also put in their stake in a business by providing funds and goods and services on credit to the business. So this ratio tells about contribution of owners of a business in total assets of the business. Therefore, proprietary ratio is equal to proprietors funds upon total assets of the business. And proprietors funds are equal to shareholders funds equal to equity. So what is equity that we have already seen, guys, here? Equity is shareholders funds or owners funds or proprietors funds. That is sum total of capital and reserves and surplus. And that is what is proprietors funds. That is, in each rupee of assets of the business, proprietors contribution is 80 paise, and the remaining 20 paise is from lenders and creditors, or from outsiders, that is lenders and creditors of goods and services. Mishika,
Yes,
Ansha, Anish, Tanmay, Manveer,
Yes, sir. Yes.
Lavanya.
yes,
Yes, sir.
Right. Then guys all noted down this much.
yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, remember that this ratio can never be more than 1, because to be more than 1, proprietor's fund should be more than total assets, which is not possible, right? Because proprietors bring funds in the business to acquire assets. So they would not like to bring more funds than the assets of the firm. Even though they bring more, that will lie in the business in form of cash or bank balance. This ratio can be 1, can be lesser than 1, but cannot be more than 1. Note down this also, guys, all. Now, guys, the next ratio is, do not write this, total assets to debt ratio. This is for CBSE students, guys. And ISC students have debt to total assets ratio. That is the reciprocal of the first one. So it is the ratio of total assets of a business to its debt. Okay, here guys, total assets means what? Total assets are non-current assets plus current assets. Because this is how we present total assets in balance sheet of a company. Non-current assets and current assets, right? So the ratio total assets to debt is total assets upon debt. So suppose total assets are 1 lakh and debt are 10,000. It means this ratio is 10 times. This shows guys the actual solvency of the business. The total debt long term liabilities of the business are covered by total assets by 10 times. Means this business can easily pay its debt. I hope you're understanding guys. It has 10 times of its total debt as total assets. I repeat, total assets are 10 times of debt of the business. Means even if the company fails to pay debt, the debt can be paid by recovering money from assets. So there is less chance that the company will ultimately fail to pay its debt. I hope you're understanding guys.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, the ICC students need not write total
Yeah,
assets
yeah,
to
you
debt
do not need to
ratio.
write. Right. For
Yes.
you, the next one would be there.
Yes, sir.
So the ratio tells how debt of a business are covered by its total assets. More the ratio, more is the or lesser is the risk of failure to repay debt. Have you got this? It is as good as how many assets an individual has against the loan he has taken from a bank, be it a vehicle loan or a personal loan or a home loan, right? So looking at this ratio, guys, your lenders give you further loan. Getting my point or not, guys? A business has its total assets to debt ratio as 10 times and now it requires more loan. It goes to a bank. Bank will check this ratio and will easily give loan to this business. Then a business who has total assets to debt ratio as 2 or 3 or 4, right? So CBSE students should note down this much, guys. It is ratio of debt to total assets and tells the contribution of debt in total assets of a business. Debt means long term or non current liabilities. This is for ISC students, guys. The above ratio tells contribution of 10 paise in each rupee of asset of the business. So against every rupee of asset, contribution of debt, that is long-term liabilities of the business, is 10 paise or 1/10 only. I hope you have got this, guys. Done, guys, everyone. Everything that we have done so far here.
Yes. No.
Done, Manveen and all till here.
Yes, sir, done.
So, guys, our fourth ratio, which is for everyone, is interest coverage ratio. This ratio tells how interest liability of a business, that is interest which the business has to pay on its borrowed funds, is covered by profits of the business. Means profits must be adequate enough to pay interest on loan taken by a business. To check that, this ratio is used. I hope you have got me, guys. So interest coverage ratio is calculated, guys, as profit before interest and tax upon annual interest charges. So suppose profits of a business before interest and tax are rupees 12,000, and interest liability of the business, the annual interest liability is rupees 3,000. So this ratio is 4 times. It means interest liability is covered 4 times by the profits. Am I clear? Means interest can be paid by the business. Note down this much, guys, and then we go ahead. Are you done with this, guys, all?
Yes, sir.
Sarthak done? Okay, let's see, guys, an example which is which has been commonly asked for this ratio. Do not write this, guys, anything. Please look at here. Debentures are debt instrument, guys. I have discussed about this earlier also. Whenever a company, not a partnership or a proprietorship business, but whenever a company wants to raise funds, long-term funds, it has two options: either to issue its shares or to take or raise funds in form of borrowed funds. Now, to borrow funds, it has to go to either banks or financial institutions or to the public. If the company decides to go to the public to raise borrowed funds, then it has to make some certificates which would be given to public to those who lend money to the company. Such certificates are called debentures. It means debentures are debt instruments through which a company takes loan from the public. Have you got me what I said, guys? So a company requiring long-term borrowed funds publishes an advertisement in newspaper and electronic media mentioning that it requires borrowed funds, not owners' funds, but only borrowed funds, where each certificate is of rupees 100, for example, and the total money the company requires is rupees 10 lakhs. It means the company would be issuing 10,000 such certificates. Each of these certificates are called debentures. On every certificate, date of repayment of the money would be mentioned. That date is also mentioned in the advertisement. So suppose today my company wants to raise 10 lakh rupees from the public in form of debentures. For that I will give an advertisement in the newspaper that I require 10 lakh rupees in form of debentures, where each debenture is of rupees 100 and it carries interest at the rate of 10% per annum. That 10% per annum rate is prefixed with the name of debentures. I hope you are getting my point, guys. The annual rate of interest is prefixed with the name of debentures. So it may be 9% debentures, 11%, 12%, and so on. Right? I also have to mention in advertisement as when I will repay the money to my lenders. So let's say in my advertisement, I have mentioned that after 10 years from now, I will repay the money. So in these 10 years, every year I will pay interest at the rate of 10% on my certificates, that is on my debentures. Have you got me, guys, or not? So these debentures or this loan which carries interest at the rate of 10% is, let's say, of rupees 30,000. Have you got this? We have been given net profits. Okay, let's say net profits are rupees 52,000. And we have also been given tax rate that is 25%. So with this three information, we have to calculate interest coverage ratio. And for that, we require profit before interest and tax. This is net profit. Net profit is the profit which is after all the expenses, including interest, and also after income tax. That is what is net profit, right? So from this net profit, we have to reach profit before interest and tax. So let's understand one thing before I solve this. That is profit before tax, which is also known as operating profit. Let's say of a business is 40,000. This is profit before interest and tax. So now interest would be subtracted because interest has not been subtracted from this amount yet because this amount is before interest. And let's say interest amount is 10,000, right? So now profit before tax, because tax has not been provided yet, is rupees 30,000. Let's say tax rate is 25%. Otherwise, also in India, all Indian companies tax rate is 25% of net profit. So 25% of 30,000 is 7,500. So now the net profits, which are also known as PAT, that is profit after tax, is 22,500. Have you understood this data set, guys, or not all? I'm asking all, have you understood this, what I did here? Forget about the example.
Yes.
Okay, now in this question, guys, you have been given the net profit. That is this one. Means this one you have been given. And you have to reach here. And you have been given tax rate 25%. So first you have to calculate this 30,000. Now when from something 25% is deducted, the remaining amount is equivalent to 75%. Correct or not? So if this is 75%, how much 100% would be equivalent to? That we have to calculate. So if 75% is equal to 22,500, then 100% would be 22,500 into 100 divided by 25, and that will give us 30,000. So from this information and tax rate, we have got profit before tax. Have you got this, guys, or not? And to this, we will add interest. And interest is how much? Interest, for interest, we would be given information as it is given here. The loan or the debentures that we have issued are of rupees 30,000, which carries interest at the rate of 10% per annum. So annual interest would be 3,000. So here also we would be given information about interest, which is 10,000. So profit before this 10,000, guys, I have taken from here only. So profit before interest and tax is 30,000 plus 10,000. That is profit before tax plus annual interest. That is 40,000. So this is how we reached, guys, here. Have you understood, guys, this or not? All I'm asking, guys.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now let's solve this question, guys. This is equivalent to how much? 75%. So how much 100% would be equivalent to? Because from 100 only we subtracted 25. Ah, no, this is sorry. This is 75. Then ये 75 होना चाहिए गलती से 25 लिख दिया है. My mistakenly I've written this. If 75% is equal to 25, 22,500, 100% would be 22,500 into 100 divided by 75. That is 30,000. Right? So guys, here we have been given the net profit as 52,000 and tax rate is 25%. So profit before tax would be how much? 52,000 divided by 75 into 100. Am I clear? The same thing what I did there. Okay, guys, I am making it 42,000 for easy calculation or make it 51,000 because otherwise the answer will come in decimal. So please make it 51 instead of 52 in the example. Have you all done this, guys? Make it 51,000, guys, so that we do not have answer in decimal. So 51,000 divided by 75 into 100 as I did it here. The same thing I have done here, guys, because this 51 is after tax of 25%. It means this amount is equivalent to 75%. So how much 100% would be equivalent to? So this is 68,000 rupees, guys. Right? So profit, okay. Annual interest charges are 10% of 30,000 is equal to 3,000. So profit before interest and taxes 68,000 plus 3,000, that is 71,000. So interest coverage ratio would be profit before interest and tax divided by annual interest charges, that is 3,000. That is 23.66 times. Have you got me, guys, or not? Manveer, Mansha, Mishika, Manya, Tanmay,
Yes,
have
sir.
you all understood this, guys, or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Note down this, guys. I hope you all have corrected this net profits amount, 51,000. Okay. Start noting it down from here, guys. You all have noted down it till here, right? This you have noted down. Tahir and Ahmadullah, just give us 5 minutes. Done, guys, this much, everyone. Note down this also.